Shalom, family. Welcome to the Brother Mike Experience with your main man, Brother Mike. Thank you so much. I want to thank those who are tuning in with us for tuning in for the live experience. And again, welcome to the Brother Mike Experience here every Wednesday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube and Facebook. If you can't catch the live performance, make sure you catch the recorded version on my YouTube channel. That's YouTube at Brother Mike 1217, and we'll put that in there somewhere right along there on the edited version. So welcome to the Brother Mike Experience. Yes. So what are we talking about today on the Brother Mike Experience? What are we going to experience? Well, we're going to experience something that's of the utmost importance. I pray that people tune into this show because it could save your life. Yes, it could save your life. So on today's show, we are going to talk about the man, the myth, the legend, Dr. Sebi. Yes, Dr. Sebi, one of my favorites. Dr. Sebi is one of my mentors that I chose as a mentor to help me get started on a better path of health, because health is the most important thing on the planet. So I thought we'd take time out to have a show about Dr. Sebi. For those who are not aware of him, you can learn who this wonderful black man was before he met his demise. And for those who have never heard today, you'll at least get a little bit of background on who Dr. Sebi is, why he is so important, and why others came against him, maybe even in a conspiracy in his death. But that's hearsay, so I can't call that one way or another. I just know the brother was bringing forth something that was pertinent, and it was definitely going to put a dent into the big pharmas, the big pharmaceutical companies, and all of a sudden he's not alive no more. So you go figure. You know the world we live in, you know the country we live in, you know how they get down. So anyway, this show is going to be about Dr. Sebi. For those who are just tuning in, welcome to the Brother Mike Experience here live every Wednesday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube and Facebook. If you cannot catch this live performance, make sure you tune in to the edited version on my YouTube channel. That's YouTube at Brother Mike 1217. All right, so on today's show, we're going to be talking about the man, the myth, the legend, Dr. Sebi. And we want to know, what did he teach? Who was he? And did the things that he taught actually work? So I think this is a great show, especially for my community, because within the black community, we deal with a lot of sickness. And in the past 3 years, I don't know how it's been for everyone else, but I feel like I've witnessed more people pass away in the past 3 years than I have probably my whole life. It's been a lot of people passing, and I know it's been a lot of different catalysts between COVID and cancer and diabetes, heart attack, stroke, all these different things. So we're going to talk about these things just a little bit today and try to give you insight on how Dr. Sebi approached these things. So for those who are not familiar with the Black by the Man, I'm about to say the Black by the Man radio show, because that is my radio show. But this is the Brother Mike Experience. Those who are not familiar with the Brother Mike Experience, welcome, man. The water's warm. We are happy to have you here, and we're going to go ahead and get this show started. So let's talk about Dr. Sebi. Anybody that's in the comments today, if you are familiar with Dr. Sebi, feel free to leave a comment. Let me know what you know about this gentleman and if he's had an impact on your life. He's definitely had an impact on my life, so I definitely want to take time out to honor him. This is a tribute to him. Dr. Sebi has been a part of changing my life, changing my health, and you know health is wealth. So if your health changes, then your wealth changes, because money, prosperity, good jobs, good positions, savings account, nice checking account, vacations, cookouts, all of these things mean nothing if your health is not right. So you can have all that. What's it going to matter if you're sick and you're on your way out? So we want to focus on health. Everything else comes second to that. The only thing that comes before your health is the Most High God himself. You understand? So health is number one other than the Most High God. All right, so let's get into it. Let's talk about Dr. Sebi. Who is Dr. Sebi? Alfredo D. Bowman, famously known as Dr. Sebi, was born in Spanish Honduras. He unpredictably cured hundreds of people with serious diseases and demonstrated it in the U.S. courts that his methods are 100% natural and effective. Hey, he always endorsed himself as a self-taught teacher, vegetarian, herbalist, pathologist, biochemist, neutralist of herbal medicine. As he gained popularity in the local communities, he came to the United States of America on a mission to heal humanity, specifically African Americans. From AIDS to cancer to diabetes to epilepsy, he healed numerous ailments and reversed them entirely. So there we have it. Now you know who Dr. Sebi is. Dr. Sebi is Mr. Alfredo Bowman. He is from Spanish Honduras. So Honduras is where he learned about all of the different medicinal herbs that we can use to heal our body. He'll tell you, just like we've always said, what God says in the Bible, which is the Most High God said, I put the herbs on the earth for your healing. So Dr. Sebi tapped into that. So yes, he was never certified through other nations in their education system, their formal education system. So he never went to their colleges. He never went to their schools. He never sought their approval for what he was doing. He knew that what he was doing was correct. And in my opinion, that's probably why they had a problem with him. All right, let's keep going. So Dr. Sebi received nationwide fame when he ran different advertisements in newspapers like New York Post and claimed that he has cured AIDS. These ads got a lot of attention and compelled the Food and Drug Administration, that is the FDA, to sue him for bogus advertisements and practicing without a legal license. So let's just stop right there. So the man comes forward. He's putting ads in the newspaper saying, hey, if you're suffering from these type of ailments, come see me. I can cure you of this. The FDA, the Food and Drug Administration, the powers to be, found out that he was doing this and decided to sue him for putting out false claims. Now, first of all, how do you know it's false claims? Well, when you understand that dominant society feels that their perspective, their answers, their view is the norm. You know, that's the measuring stick. So the fact that he was doing something that didn't have anything to do with them, okay, in their eyes, okay, he's wrong, right? He's wrong for this. So this is the mentality of the people who run this world. You know, if you're not doing things the way that they say you should do it, then they're going to try to come against you. So they came against him. Food and Drug Administration sued him for bogus advertising practices without a legal license. So if you haven't dealt with him directly, how do you have a right to sue him? How do you have a right to say that what he's practicing is bogus? It's because it wasn't under their laws. So anything that goes against the way they feel things should be, then they're going to try to come against you. So just try to keep that in mind with a lot of people who you see do things outside the box. And then all of a sudden, here comes, bad news coming for them. So anyway, I'll keep reading. It was one man versus the FDA. He committed to his work and had so much success that he took on the Attorney General of New York in a Supreme Court trial. Listen at this. All this man was doing was teaching people a different way to heal their body without going to these other people's doctor's offices, taking their pills, taking their medications, their advice. He did it naturally, and they sued him, took him to court. So it went to the Supreme Court. He was instructed to bring in 9 patients with official medical documents proving that he has cured their disease. So this man was facing jail, all because he was helping to cure people. And the Supreme Court was even going to put him in jail. But they did give him a chance and said, if you can bring us 9 patients that have proven official medical conditions, and you can prove that they don't have that no more and have the medical community confirm that they don't have that no more, then, you might not be in trouble. So Dr. Sebi, in true nature and true confidence of what he knew, instead of bringing in 9 patients, Dr. Sebi came to court with 77 patients and got the victory. Come on with it. Come on with it. They tried to come against him. Why? Because he was a man, and a black man on top of that, who went against what Big Pharma teaches us, which is every time we get sick, we need to go to them and then have them prescribe their black magic medicine. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that. I meant prescriptions. Prescribe their prescriptions so we can get a little bit sicker. You know, we all know about their prescriptions. Like, yeah, it may work on the area that you set it up to get, but you know, it's probably other areas that are not working so good anymore, right? So he came with 77 patients, had a brilliant victory against the court system. That's the Supreme Court system. Because remember, it's the FDA who started this ball rolling and putting charges against this man, all because he said, hey, you can heal yourself naturally by changing certain things and eating certain things. The judge declared him not guilty on all accounts. Yes, Dr. Sebi broke free. But just look at the scenario. What does that tell you about what's really happening in this world, in this country? The fact that you wanted to heal yourself and you've done it, healed others, have proof of it, and you decide to run an ad, and then all of a sudden you end up in Supreme Court on the trial of your life, facing jail time, all because you decided, I'm going to teach people how to heal themselves. So there's a little backdrop right there on Dr. Sebi. Dr. Sebi is from Honduras. His real name is Mr. Alfred Bowman. He just simply came up with different ways to heal people and decided to help the nation by putting it in the newspaper. And what did it get him? Charged up, put in jail, then had to go to court, had to appeal that, and then eventually made it all the way up to the Supreme Court, just to have the Supreme Court judge say, you know what, this man has proven that what he says is correct, so we got to let him go. So Dr. Sebi had the biggest victory that you could probably think of when someone of those natures come against you. You know, take him to the Supreme Court, fight him to the end, and that's what he did. So I'm so happy that that worked out for him, because had it not, I may have never found out about Dr. Sebi, and I wouldn't have been able to bring you this show, wouldn't have been able to change my health, and so would millions of others. All right, so is anybody in the comments today, are you familiar with Dr. Sebi? If so, let me know. Give me a thumbs up. Tell me anything that you've known about Dr. Sebi. Is there anybody in your family or friends or co-workers who has taken his approach on life? And if so, has it helped them? Has it healed them? We want to hear from you. So let's talk about what Dr. Sebi actually taught. What did he teach? Dr. Sebi taught healing with electric foods. Yes, electric foods and botanicals. The basis behind Dr. Sebi's approach is clearing the body of excessive mucus, which is the root of all diseases. So let's talk about this. Dr. Sebi taught that the root of all diseases is excessive mucus in the body. This is the compromising of the mucous membrane. So the foods that we eat is causing this mucus to build up in us. It's causing starch. So Dr. Sebi said we must eat electric foods. He says our research reveals that all manifestation of disease finds its genesis when and where the mucus is in the bronchial tubes. The disease is bronchitis. If it is in the lungs, the disease is pneumonia. If it's in the pancreatic duct, it's diabetes. If it's in the joints, it's arthritis. Woo, I know they did not like that. I know they did not like that. So let me put this in layman's terms. So what he's saying is the diseases that they diagnose people with are simply titles and names that they break the disease up into. Dr. Sebi taught there's only one disease of the body, and that's the compromising of the mucous membrane and having excess mucus in your body. Depending on where that excess mucus is located at, the medical community gives it a totally different name. So if it's in your brain, they call it Alzheimer. If it's in your joints, they call it arthritis and gout, right? If it's in your pancreas duct, they call it diabetes. But what they're not going to tell you is that it's excess mucus in your body. Your body is acidic versus alkaline. So it doesn't matter what the title or the name of the particular disease is. Dr. Sebi was out to cure the body of the mucus, turn the body from acidic back to alkaline. The body is alkaline, disease cannot survive in it. Disease can only survive in an acidic body. So electric foods is what prevents you from having excessive mucus buildup in the body. According to Dr. Sebi, blood and starch in the diet are the main reasons we can be overrun with clogging plaque. He teaches starch is a chemical that wreaks havoc on health, mainly because it causes acidity in the body. The same with animal products. An acidic body will create mucus and congest the system, leading to inflammation, whereas an alkaline pH will do just the opposite. All right, so let's talk about the mucus. The mucus is coming from the foods that we eat are not natural foods. They are either processed foods or they're hybrid foods. And some of these foods are very, very tricky because when you look at things like broccoli, Dr. Sebi will tell you not to eat broccoli. Now, think about how much we actually don't eat broccoli, right? Because it's a vegetable. But even when you do, you definitely feel like, okay, I'm eating good today, right? I'm eating some broccoli. I got something green in me. Well, Dr. Sebi taught that broccoli is a hybrid. It's not an electric food. What is an electric food? Electric foods are foods that are grown naturally on earth from God with no human intervention, no genetically splicing, none of that. This thing grows like this on its own from the rain, from the earth, from God. There's no changing in it. So electric foods are real food. So I'll give you a couple of examples, right? We eat a lot of potatoes, white potatoes. White potatoes are actually not natural. It's not an electric food. White potatoes is a hybrid. This was from another nation of people, dominant society, splicing different plants together, created the white potato. So the white potato has no nutritional value. Now that I've told you that, don't you think it's ironic that they serve white potatoes with everything? French fries, tater tots, mashed potatoes, they give us white potatoes with everything. Potato chips, all of these things are keeping your body acidic. The potato that Dr. Sebi said we can eat is the sweet potato. He said the sweet potato is a real potato, meaning it grows that way without any intervention from man. So white potatoes are not real. Cauliflower is not real. Broccoli is not real. So the whole thing with electric foods is you have to now begin to do some research and find out what type of foods are electric. What are natural foods that naturally grow on the earth? And fruits and vegetables, of course, are pretty natural, but not all of them. They've gotten tricky. They've done some splicing, right? So animal products is another big thing that causes excess mucus in the body. So animal products, what are we talking about? We're talking about meat. We're talking about the one thing that a lot of us do not want to give up, the meat. But you must understand the meat is what's making you sick. Even if the meat was natural, right? And it wasn't filled with antibiotics and steroids and hormones and all that stuff, it still would make your body acidic. But the fact that we are eating contaminated meat, right? Again, produced by another nation of people who don't care about health. They want you sick. You see, if you're not sick, then how do the hospitals stay fed with patients? How do the doctors stay making money? That's why the medical community does not cure people. There are people who thought they were cured by the medical community. The medical community does not cure people. The basis of the medical community is to treat your symptoms. I'm going to say that again. The basis of the medical community is to treat your symptoms, not cure your illness. There's a difference. Treat your symptoms. This is why when you go to the doctors, you go to the ER, patient first, care first, urgent care, whatever, the first thing they ask you is, what are your symptoms? Now, this is no disrespect to people in the medical community because they are simply doing what they were taught. This is what they were taught. So they're not doing this with any malice. They're following procedure. This is why being educated by your people is so important. I'll go back to Malcolm X. Malcolm X said the worst thing you can do is have your people be educated by another group of people. This is the result. You think you're doing something well. You're in a community who you think is doing good for the world. It's the medical community. You have no idea that the people behind it are teaching you to give things to people that's actually going to hurt them. So they're not there to cure you. They are there to deal with your symptoms. The problem with that is when the body is finally experiencing symptoms, that means you've already been sick for an extensive period of time. Our body is a temple created by the Most High God, all praises, and it will heal itself. But we were not taught that. So what they're doing is taking advantage of our lack of knowledge, and they're treating your symptom, which is normally what? Pain or discomfort. See, they're not curing the disease. They're treating the pain, the discomfort, and they were not trained on what to tell you to do to cure your gout, your diabetes, never have a stroke again, cardiovascular disease. They didn't tell you how to prevent that. They simply gave you a Band-Aid to put on it so you can go out here and continue to live your life, and then eventually you're going to expire. And you're going to expire from that sickness. So animal products and foods that are processed and foods that are not natural cause starch buildup in our body. The starch buildup causes excess mucus. The excess mucus is going to keep your body acidic. The acidic environment is going to feed the disease. It's going to feed it. Now, he says it also will cause serious inflammation, and this is why an alkaline diet, which is a diet of electric foods, will work better for you. So what is alkaline pH? Most of us are kind of familiar with it. There's a lot of information out here now, so we know anything that's above a 7 pH is alkaline, and anything below a 7 is acidic. They literally have alkaline kits out here that you can purchase to check your water and check things like that. But let's discuss what is alkaline. So what is alkaline? Alkaline is anything that contains a pH of 7 or higher. What is pH? pH is a figure expressing the acidity or alkalinity of a solution on a logarithmic scale on which 7 is neutral. Lower values are more acidic and higher values are more alkaline. So the pH scale is simple. 7 or above, it's going to be alkaline. 7 or below, it's going to be acidic. So this is why you see some people like checking their water, like even though they may buy like so-called alkaline water, but then you'll see them at home actually testing the water. There's several different kits. You can get the stick that you stick in there, or you can get the drop. So my understanding is that the drops work better. The drops are pretty simple. If you drop it into the water and the water turns purple, that means it's alkaline. If it doesn't turn purple and turns yellowish or green, that means it's very, very acidic. So through that testing, we have discovered many companies that claim to sell alkaline water, and it's really not alkaline. So you got to be careful out there. So let's talk about these electric foods. Let's get some examples of these electric foods. So electric foods are foods that are properly found and support the African genome that is in the foundation of all people. Non-hybrid and non-GMO plant foods are electric foods. Electric foods are non-hybrid and non-GMO. And they properly feed and support the African genome that is in the foundation of all people. Now, you got to really listen to that language. It feeds the African genome that is found in all people. So the black man is the original human being. The black woman is the original human being. So everyone comes from us. So this genome, if it does good for us, it's going to do good for everybody because everybody else comes from us. And this is why he said the African genome that is found in the foundation of all people. Woo, that's that melanin, man. That's that melanin. Everybody comes from us. I know those other nations hate that. And I know they come from us. It don't mean they're not of the devil, but that's another situation. So let's get into some examples of this electric food. So you got fruits such as apples, figs, dates, seeded grapes, mango, seeded melons, bananas, burro bananas. Burro bananas are the little small ones. So when you go to the supermarket, you see all those beautiful large bananas, and then you see a few little sections of the little small ones. That's the real banana. The real banana is called a burro banana. They're only about this big. The banana that we know of, that we all love and eat, is actually a hybrid. See, it gets tricky. These powers to be are already prepared for when we reach this point of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding and try to make changes. They already got us confused on a lot of things. So the only real banana is the burro banana. Other electric foods are berries, cantaloupes, cherries, plums, limes. Now, if you get limes, you have to get key limes. So the key lime is, you know what I mean? It's the real small ones. They're only about that big, and it's just tiny. It looks smaller than like a ping pong ball. That's the real lime. The other limes are hybrids from the key lime. Then there's peaches, raisins, pears, soursop. For those who are not familiar, soursop's a really good fruit. Helps. It's very anti-cancer. It's very electric food, so it helps to kill mucus and get rid of it. As far as vegetables, you want to deal with like non-starchy vegetables. So we're talking about greens, dandelion greens, kale, lettuce, no iceberg. I used to think iceberg lettuce was good lettuce. Dr. Sebi said that's the worst lettuce on the planet. And when I learned that, I thought to myself, yeah, that makes sense because that's the one that's always available. Like if you go to a store and they don't have a large selection of lettuce, they always got iceberg lettuce, and that's the one you don't want to eat. Though, you know, I liked iceberg lettuce up until I found that out. But don't do iceberg. Then you got Mexican cactus, you got watercress, you got zucchini, turnip greens, onions, cucumbers, olives, mushrooms, bell peppers, etc. So these are some examples of electric foods, foods you can eat that won't hurt you. If you guys are familiar with shows I've done previous, I always tell you food only serves one of two purposes. When it goes into your system, it either hurts the body or it helps the body. There is no in between. So electric foods are only going to help the body. So that's a nice list. Let's see. We even have some nitrogen-based compounds on here. So that would be quinoa. Quinoa is very good. Spelt, Brazilian nuts, hemp seed, raw sesame seeds, walnuts, one of my favorites, kamut, amaranth. I'm not familiar with amaranth. Anybody in the comments, if you're familiar with amaranth, I'm not familiar with that. So those are some nitrogen-based compounds. So let's go over this again. Electric foods, fruits. You're talking about things like apples, dates, figs, seeded grapes, mangoes, seeded melons, burro bananas, berries, cantaloupe, cherries, plums, key limes, peaches, raisins, pears, soursop, non-starchy vegetables, greens, dandelion greens, kale lettuce, Mexican cactus, watercress, zucchini, turnip greens, onions, cucumbers, olives, mushrooms, bell peppers, etc. And as far as nitrogen-based compounds, you're talking about quinoa, spelt, Brazilian nuts, hemp seed, raw sesame seeds, walnuts, kamut, and amaranth. Still not familiar with that. Somebody got to tell me what amaranth is. So anyway, let's get into the botanicals, because remember, Dr. Sebi cured with electric foods and botanicals. What are botanicals? Botanicals are fiber, juice, oil, pulp, tissue, or other components derived from plants used in cosmetics, food, supplements, personal care products, and pharmaceuticals. Examples of botanicals are juniper berry, common berry, coriander, Norwegian angelica, lemon, orange, orris root, Chinese cinnamon, ginger, cardan, grass of paradise, sarsaparilla root, one of my favorites, burdock root, one of my favorites, tila root, one of my favorites. And what do botanicals do? Botanicals provide intracellular healing by detoxing each cell and replacing depleted minerals. They help pull mucus from the cell. So let's talk about that. Everything that Dr. Sebi taught as far as using the botanicals, eating electric foods, and these particular roots like sarsaparilla, elderberry, burdock, tila root, mullein, guaco, you take these roots and you make teas with them and you drink the tea. Now, along with your electric foods, the better diet, these teas actually feed your blood cells. Now, you must understand the importance of this. Most things that we do deal with a specific area. So you may do a colon cleanse, or you're trying to do a liver cleanse, or a kidney cleanse, lung cleanse, things of that nature. But what Dr. Sebi taught is that you need to do a intracellular cleanse. And what that means is the cleansing of your cells in your body. If you cleanse the cells in your body, it cleanses all the organs, because all the organs are made up of the cells. So this is a deep cleaning of your body by no longer eating these foods that can hurt you. Now, the thing is, I do this type of show because I'm very disturbed at watching so many people in my community continue to pass away behind food. And it reminds me of what the Most High God said about us, because we are the children of Israel in the Bible when he says, my people perish because they lack knowledge. We have to stop this thing of wanting to do what we want to do. You cannot continue in life eating what you want to eat and making up excuses. So whether you going off what the Bible says, where God tells us not to eat pork and crabs and shrimp and all that, or you going off Dr. Sebi saying it and saying, yeah, you need to eat electric foods. This nonsense that we like to do, oh, my grandfather ate pork for 90 years, and you know what? And if you do it, you're not going to live to be 90, okay? And your grandfather is not going to be in the hospital helping you when you dying from eating pork and crabs and shrimp and ribs and all that nonsense. We've had our run with it. We didn't know any better. Now we know this stuff is killing us, and it makes it hard for me to continue to watch our people make excuses because they don't want to simply change the way they eat. I find it to be very selfish, because most of us have people who love us. You have children, you have parents, you have relatives, and yet you're going to be on some dumb stuff like, well, I'm going to eat what I want to eat. Well, you know what? You can either pay the price now and change the way that you eat so you can get healthier, or you can pay later on in the ER. It's as simple as that. Either way, you are going to pay. And we are just beside ourselves with this stubbornness. But again, it's very biblical. God calls us stiff-necked, and I see it all the time. We are dying behind food. Like, do we really have a true understanding of that? Black people in America are dying behind the food that they eat. This is the dumbest shit on the planet. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to cuss, but it's just so asinine. You know what I mean? And that we choose to say, I'm going to stay here. I don't care what the Bible says. I don't care what they talking about. My doctor told me all I got to do is take these pills. Well, see, that's what you lack in understanding. They don't care about you. Brother Mike, I care about you. I want you to live. I want us to be healthy. Not just me. I want you to be healthy. But we got to get out of this stiff-neck attitude. The days of getting away with eating all that crap is over. Once you go past 30, 35 years old, all that crap that you ate previous is coming back for you. And I have to sit and watch our people in our community work at a job for 20, 25, 30 years, trying to build up to their pension. And then right as they get close, they get sick. They get sick because no one told them that all that bad eating was going to lead to them getting sick. So now you did 25, 30 years on the job, close to retirement, and now you're sick. Yeah, you're sick. So your family gets hurt. The company puts you on light duty. Doctors putting you on all kinds of medication. You're not going to get better because they're not there to help you get better. And then the next thing you know, the job lets you go. Right? Now your whole family's life then went downhill, right? Because you don't have them big bucks rolling in no more. You're sick. People got to take care of you. It's a disaster, and it's not fair after you watch people work so hard for 20, 30 years at a company just to end up getting sick. 7 points is 7 points. I'm going to say that again. That job does not care if you've been there for 20 minutes or 20 years. 7 points is 7 points. They're going to get you out of there, man. You know what I mean? So once you start missing them days from that sickness, them points start accumulating, we got to let you go, man. Now think about how unfair that is when that person worked their whole life busting their butt in that company. And just to find out that they're getting sick now, they can't perform the way they used to perform. So now their whole life's going to change, right? That's one angle. The other angle is, let's say you didn't lose the job, right? But you make it through the job. But now that you're older, you're sick, right? So because you're sick, Now you got to lay up on some family member, right? That's irresponsible because that's normally a younger person or another family member who's done better with their life. Now, you lived your life and did whatever the hell you wanted to do, ate all the food you wanted, made all kinds of excuses. Now you sick. Your children just coming into their prime, trying to live their life, or your relatives are doing good. Now they got to take care of you. See, you see how unfair that is? And they're going to because they love you. But that's very unfair for you to live your life with no responsibility of your health and what you put in your mouth, and now you jacked up. The person who ain't in that position now has to stick around and help you. That's unacceptable. I'm sorry, that's unacceptable. I'm very passionate about that. We have to do better. We got to get away from this nonsense of just going off of our thought process. Recognize that there's law, statutes, commandments in the Bible. God told us how to eat. I don't care what Christianity told you and these other religions made by these other people. What God said in that Bible is his word. Don't let nobody tell you, oh no, that's old. That don't work no more. The Most High God's word is neither old nor new. It is everlasting. And everything he said applies to this very day. So I get really bothered by seeing how stiff-necked we are. We're just going to keep on living. I'm here to tell you, especially if you of a mature age, I'm going to tell you what nobody else is going to tell you, and this may ruffle some feathers. You need to do some research into Dr. Sebi and people of this nature, Dr. Joel Furman, listen to the Brother Mike Experience, and make changes in the things that you put in your mouth. I was in the supermarket this a couple months ago. I'm in line. I got all these fruits and vegetables up on the counter. There's a woman behind me. My total came up to like $160. She said, see, I can't do that. I said, do what? I can't pay all that money for all that food. Like, ain't even nothing on there. That's a bunch of fruits and nuts and seeds and berries and all that crap. And I said, I understand, sister, and you don't have to, but understand this. You don't have to pay it now. You can pay it later at the ER. It's really that simple. You can pay it now in the store and keep yourself healthy, or you can pay it later through copays. You can pay it later at the ER. You can pay it when they keep you in there for 3-4 days, put you on 10 different medications. This is senseless. We got to start doing better, and it just seems like everyone's scared to just tell us just straight up. I'm finna tell you straight up. If you don't make changes, you're going to end up in a bad situation. And let me tell you about this situation. Give you some info. Black American adults are 30% more likely to die from heart disease than white Americans, and 40% more likely to have high blood pressure than white adult Americans. Now, why is that? Why is that? Why is that? Now, I know the medical community is going to tell you, well, you know, you're African American, so you're predisposed to having hypertension and all that. Listen, that's all lies. That's a bunch of lies. You have hypertension, diabetes, stroke, and all of this was in your family because y'all all eat the same stuff. We eat the same food. That's why your uncle had it, your aunt had it, your grandmother, and then you got it. It is not hereditary. You do not inherit diabetes and cancer and things of that nature. That's what they want you to believe, but that's simply not the truth. Brother Mike is here to tell you the truth. The reason why family members have it and you also have it is because you all eat the same type of food. Now, the thing is, why is it that 30% more likely to die from heart disease as far as black people versus white people? It's not a racism thing. The racism is the medical community who's lying to you. These white people simply are more aware of what they put in their mouth. They move a little different from us. They not showing up everywhere wanting cheesesteaks and pizza and party wings and all that stuff. You see them at work every day eating their little cheese sandwich, their little banana and their apple. See, there was a time we thought that was some clown stuff, but now you realize they was keeping themselves healthy. Like, I remember being young. You know, our parents didn't know no better. You go on the field trip, your parents got you a cold cut, you know, or a cheesesteak. You only eat that cold. You happy. You know, you look over at your little white friends. You got a little egg sandwich. Egg salad sandwich. He got, you know, an apple, a banana. You looking like, man, that's crazy. I got a half a bag of sour cream Doritos, you know, but our parents didn't know no better. The white parents knew. They was feeding their children stuff that wasn't going to hurt them 20 years later. Our parents didn't know that. So we have to blow the whistle so we can make changes. Make the changes, change what goes in your mouth, and get your health back on track. Stop doing whatever you want to do, eating whatever you want to eat, and then running to another group of people and then saying, hey, can you please save me? I'm here to tell you they're not going to save you. They've never been in the game of saving us. You understand that? You better wake up and smell the roses on that. We have to take care of ourselves. And between the Bible and then good people like Dr. Sebi, we have information on how to do better. We have to eat electric foods. As you can see, I'm very passionate about this because I'm so tired of getting phone calls about someone else passing away. Younger than me, older than me, same age as me. We are out here dropping like flies, and it's because of food. That's insane, man. We die from heart disease more than anything. Heart disease is the leading cause of death in African Americans. Nearly 48% of African American women and 44% of African American men have some form of heart disease. Did you hear that? When I think about heart disease, I think about men. Like, I don't think about a woman when I think about heart disease. But the statistics say that the women are at 48% and we're at 44%. Women do not receive the symptoms of a heart attack like a man does. See, a lot of men, we get symptoms with everything. Men get symptoms. He have chest pain, shortness of breath, all these type of things. Sometimes women just walk around, they don't get any symptoms. And then next thing you know, boom, she passes out. People think it's just a dizzy spell or something like that. And then you hear the news, she ain't here no more. And you like, hold up, what? Yeah, she not here no more. She had a heart attack. These are the things we need to know. Research has found that even among the growing middle and upper class community, the rate of heart disease among Black Americans is still greater than white Americans who have a comparable socioeconomic status. The most common conditions that increase risk of disease and stroke among Black Americans is high blood pressure and diabetes. You hear that? High blood pressure and diabetes. We all either have dealt with it ourselves or we know someone that has it. And we got to get away from this. It's simply about what we eat. You get what I'm saying? Shout out to those tuning in today. Miss Talisha Johnson, Antonio Osborne, Veronica Black. Miss Black says, we now have to eat to live, not live to eat. Exactly. We have to eat to live. And I've done shows where I go over Dr. Joel Furman's book titled Eat to Live. You cannot keep doing this nonsense. The food is super poisonous. We literally have to put forth effort now to stay alive. It's not the day of our grandparents. It doesn't exist no more. It's a lot of evil people that run this world, and they keep everything poisoned. The medicine, the food, the water. We have to do our best to take care of ourselves. And then you have to understand the history of the medical community when it comes to Black people. The medical community has been killing Black people for over 400 years. I'm telling you now, anything they diagnose you with, you better go get a second opinion. Don't let them tell you you got cancer and then you just start chemo and radiation. Don't do that. They lie to Black people all the time. They tried to give my mother cancer, and I fought against it and didn't believe that the CAD, the CAT scan, was her CAT scan, and they fought against it. And when they saw how much of a fight I put up, in the long run, they called her up and said, I'm sorry, Miss Harrison, we mixed your CT scan up with someone else's. I knew damn good and well my mom didn't have cancer. And had my mom not had a son that stepped to these people and questioned them, they would have had my mom doing radiation, chemotherapy, and everything else. And then that's what would have killed her. And they'd have said it was the cancer. And it was never the cancer. You need to question everything that these people tell you. Stop living in la la land and know the gym is not the answer. The gym is good, but you have to understand exercise only makes up 15% of your health. 85% of your health comes from the food that you eat. Let's please stop dying behind crab cakes, shrimps, lobster, all this nonsense. Porky pig, you're not supposed to eat that stuff. Pork has more diseases in it than literally, I think the only thing that got more diseases in it than a pig is like a Komodo dragon or something. And this thing is disgusting. That's why the Most High God said it's an abomination. Do not eat it. Eat it. Stop eating this stuff and stop feeding it to your children. You are killing them as well. Do you know right now in America, both Black and white, They are finding high cholesterol in children that are 10 years old. 10 years old and already got high cholesterol. Why? Because he's been drinking milk and eating pork chops and all this craziness the whole time he's been in school. So 10 years old, already got high cholesterol. 15 with high blood pressure. 16 already diabetic. These people are trying to kill us. And when I say us, I'm not talking about just black people, Americans, period, right? The food pyramid, standard American diet that they taught us all in school, right? The acronym is SAD, Standard American Diet. You think that's an accident? It's not an accident. That standard American diet is designed to make you sick. That's why 67% of the food intake on it is meat. And we are not designed to eat all of this meat. Yes, we can have a little meat here and there, but we're in a system that taught us to eat meat 3 times a day. With all this information out here, there are literally people who eat meat 3 times a day. Eat meat in the morning, eat meat for lunch, eat meat for dinner. You have lost your mind. Do you hear what I'm saying? All this information out here about this meat killing us, and you still eating meat 3 times a day. And just the fact that people still go to McDonald's. Man, are you crazy? Like, McDonald's has been caught with human flesh in the blood, semen, a monkey DNA, all kinds of stuff. And what do? We got our excuses, right? I worked all day. I don't feel like cooking nothing for the kids. I ain't got time to do nothing else. Well, all these things that we claim we don't have time for, oh, you're going to have time for them. You're going to have time for them because your health is going to shut you down. It's going to shut you down. It's going to make you take time out. If you don't take time to take care of your body will force you to do it. But anyway, I get a little passionate about that. Let's talk about heart disease. Most heart disease is coronary artery disease, known as CAD. Coronary artery disease is the narrowing or obstruction to the blood flow that develops inside the lumen interior of the coronary vessel, usually caused by atherosclerosis or hardening of the arteries. Atherosclerosis is the building of cholesterol-laden fatty plaque in the interior of blood vessels. Over time, as plaque builds up, inflammatory products and calcium stick to the fatty stakes and softer plaque in the wall, and it develops a harder, calcified cap over it. The softer the fatty lid base is at the bottom. When enough obstruction and resistance to blood flow occurs, the heart muscle experiences a restriction in blood flow, which can result in chest pain or angina. If the blood flow in the vessel is suddenly and completely cut off, the death of that section of the muscle occurs. This results in a heart attack, or what's known as a myocardial infarction. Most heart attacks are caused by a clot that forms within the blood vessels and enlarges to the extent that obstructs the flow of blood. Okay, so those are fancy words for cholesterol and plaque. The cholesterol and plaque is from the mucus. This is the mucus. Remember what we discussed. Dr. Sebi said it's excess mucus, compromising of the mucous membrane. So if it's in the brain, it's Alzheimer's. If it's in the heart, it's cardiovascular disease. If it's in the joints, it's arthritis, it's gout. But it's all coming from the food. We have to wake up and take control of our health. We are out here busting our butt, working hard to do what? Secure the bag. Everybody wants to secure the bag. I'm here to tell you the bag is of no use to you if you're not healthy. You're just securing it for someone else to use it. You need to secure your health. That is the bag. Health is wealth. Who cares if you got millions of dollars and you can't walk? Who cares if you got millions of dollars and you got cancer and you dying? Who cares if you got millions of dollars and you diabetic and got to take 18 shots a day? You get where I'm coming from with this? We have to focus on the health. That is the wealth. I've been on my own health journey for many years now. I still feel good about it. I'm always working to do better. And now I'm to a point where I'm looking at other people like Method Man from the Wu-Tang Clan. He's got to Cal Athletics. I'm so inspired by that. Me and that brother around the same age, he goes hard for his health. Vegetarian, he doesn't drink. He works out 5-6 days a week. This is where we need to be at. That's if you want to stay alive. If you don't want to stay alive and you want to continue to believe in people that wear white coats and think that they're on your side, then by all means, ignore everything that I've just said. Keep living your life. And listen, I wish you the best, but they're going to walk slow behind you. They're going to walk real slow behind you. So we got to make these changes. Now, what leads to heart attacks? What happens before the cholesterol clogging leads you to an actual cardiac arrest? Well, you have high blood pressure. And we all deal with high blood pressure. For those who are just tuning in, welcome to the Brother Mike Experience. I go live every Wednesday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube and Facebook. And if you can't catch the live version and join the chat with us, make sure you check out the edited version on my YouTube channel. That's Brother Mike at 1217 on YouTube. All right, so you get high blood pressure. So let's talk about this. High blood pressure, also known as hypertension, is typically the first sign of a heart attack risk. High blood pressure is a strong risk factor for developing heart disease and kidney failure, strokes, and death. Letting your blood pressure run dangerously high is not wise. Hypertension is often called the silent killer because it usually has no symptoms until the body is already damaged and the deadly heart attack or stroke occurs. So let's break this down. High blood pressure. Somebody texting me. High blood pressure is a strong risk factor for developing heart disease, kidney failure, strokes, and death. Now, in our community, a lot of us suffer with high blood pressure. I was no different. I literally got myself off the blood pressure pills. So first, I want to tell you that. Do not listen to the lies that they tell you that once you're on blood pressure pills, you can't get off. That's not true. You can get off. It does take work, and you do have to wean yourself off. You can't just stop immediately. Well, that's a problem in itself. Why are you giving me some medication that if I end up missing a week, I might die? That's no good in itself. So you see, they don't have the answers. They simply have Band-Aids to put on it. But how about the fact that when you even get diagnosed with high blood pressure, right? They act like it's not a big deal. Oh, your blood pressure is a little high. This is the third time we've seen it. You're in the stages of hypertension. Don't worry about it. We'll give you a couple pills to take. Why aren't they telling you what the information tells you, which is if your blood pressure is high, you're at risk for heart attack, kidney disease, and strokes. Think about if you went to your doctor and he literally told you that. Think about if he said to you, you know what, your blood pressure is high and you need to make some changes or you're going to have a heart attack. You have a stroke, you have kidney disease. They're not telling you the severity of it. They're making you think, oh, it's not that big of a deal. They don't tell you to stop eating. And then they make you believe that salt is the culprit. So the culprit. Did I say that right? Culprit. They make you think salt is the culprit. The same way with diabetes, they make you think sugar is the culprit. Lies. Diabetes, you're diabetic because you eat too much meat. Dr. Joel Furman has proven with hundreds of patients that when he takes them off of eating meat and feeds them electric foods, fruits, vegetables, seeds, and nuts, or what he calls G-bombs. The letter G, the word bomb. Greens, beans, onions, mushrooms, berries, seeds, and nuts. He said he's had patients that have been diabetic for 30 years, taking several insulin shots a day, and within 30 days, they are no longer diabetic. See, they're lying to us. It's not about sugar. It's about the meat that you keep eating. Blood pressure, it's not about salt. It's about the food that you're eating. Salt is simply a part of hurting you. What they won't tell you with salt is that it's not all salt. The body needs salt. Salt is mentioned in the Bible. The body needs salt. The body doesn't want iodized salt. Take note of that. Iodized salt. Stay the hell away from iodized salt. If you got it in your house right now and you're watching this video, take it and throw it in the trash. You need to get sea salt or pink Himalayan salt. And if you really want to get into the game, you use a little Celtic salt every now and then on your tongue to help the blood flow and bring pressure down. They don't want you to know the secrets. But if we were being told what we were at risk of with the high blood pressure pills, you would be much more scared. See, they're not telling you you're on the verge of a stroke, kidney disease, heart attack. They're just saying you got a little high blood pressure. You know, you're eating a little too many hamburgers. Chill out on the hamburgers. These people don't care if you live or die. Matter of fact, they get more money from you being sick. So let's go over the reasons for high blood pressure. 3 main causes of high blood pressure. Number 1, atherosclerosis, right? Stiffening and narrowed blood vessels. Number 2, chronic high salt intake, leading to the increase of sympathetic and vascular tone. Remember, get rid of the iodized salt. Use sea salt. When you use sea salt or pink Himalayan salt, you're going to find you don't need as much salt because it's a little more powerful. It's natural salt. It's from the sea. You use a lot less of it, but more than anything, the body can process it. The body's familiar with sea salt. It's the iodized salt that gives us these problems. Third one is chronic inflammation, damaging the endothelial lining, causing constriction and decreased elasticity. So this is going to make your blood vessels not expand and have that elasticity when the blood's flowing through it. But all of this comes from excessive mucus. Reducing blood pressure by reducing body weight, oxidative stress, cholesterol, blood sugar, and other metabolic markers synergistically restores health to vessels in the heart, the brain, and the peripheral circulation. The dramatic effects seen from a reduction in blood pressure parallel the benefits seen from lowering cholesterol and the reduction and eventual solution of atherosclerosis. That's a crazy word to say. Hey, I see we got a few in the chat today. I want to thank y'all for tuning in. So yeah, we got to do better and recognize that with high blood pressure, we are at risk of having kidney disease, stroke, heart attack, things of that nature. We have to start taking time out to study people like Dr. Sebi. Listen to the Brother Mike experience, right? I keep wanting to say the Black Body Man radio show. It must be time for me to do a new show. Yeah, check out my show, the Brother Mike experience. I like to go over health things because I'm here to help. And it doesn't just help my audience. It helps me. It helps keep me sharp. All these things are reminders for me to stay on top of my game. But we cannot keep dying behind food. You got to take time out and use your brain. Stop going through life and only using your hands to make money or only using your brain when it makes money. None of that is going to do you any good if you are unhealthy. And don't get caught in the dumb stuff. Like I know within us, we like to say, oh, well, he big or she big, but they healthy though. Dr. Joel Fuhrman said there's no such thing. See, that's not my words. Look up Dr. Joel Fuhrman. He's got a book called Eat to Live, End of Heart Disease, End of Diabetes, things like that. Dr. Joel Fuhrman said that is a lie. If you are overweight and you have anything hanging off of you, you can imagine what this did to me when I heard this. He said, if you have anything hanging off you, stomach, arms in it, you are not healthy. No matter how much your doctor tries to tell you that you are not healthy. You are overweight, borderline diabetic. You probably got high blood pressure. I've been through all of this. That's why I can speak so candidly about it. I'm not someone that's been skinny, all throughout his life. I worked hard to get to where I'm at right now. Matter of fact, I'm down about 23 pounds right now. Whoop, whoop. Big up to Brother Mike. So yeah, because I want to stay healthy. And of course, we also want to look good. And it amazes me how we don't want to put no effort into trying to be healthy, eat the right foods, exercise, but then we still trying to put effort into looking good. So we're going to go and get some clothes that's too small and squeeze into it. It's got to come to an end. It's got to come to an end. I'm telling you the Yah's honest truth, which y'all know of as the God's honest truth. I hate to be so direct, but this is life or death. If you don't listen to the things that are being said to you, you're going to find yourself in a bad situation. If you have watched this show, the words that I just put in your brain, they're going to stay there. It's going to haunt you. We have to do better. Any effort is a good effort. Health is wealth. Health is wealth. Stop worrying about the bag. Worry about your kidneys. Okay? Worry about your heart. Worry about your joints. Worry about your health. I know a few people who work in the dialysis, and they always tell me sad stories, about how, all these different black people end up in dialysis. Now, I'm not in depth on dialysis, but I really don't need to be because I know that's not the answer. Taking my blood out and recycling it back in, come on, that's insane. I'm never doing that. You know what I'm saying? Take control of your life, change the way you eat. Look up people like Dr. Sebi. Let me get a time check. Yeah, look up people like Dr. Sebi and take control of your health. Health is wealth. We have to stop dying behind food because this is out of control, and I'm tired of us being stiff-necked people and not wanting to listen to reality. There are plenty of people that's going to watch this video. It's going to ruffle their feathers, but that's okay because I told you before I would rather offend you into the truth than to lullaby you into lies. I'm simply not going to do that because I'm Brother Mike from Black Body Man radio show, the Brother Mike Experience, and I love you. And I want you to work on your health. I'm out of time, but we will do another show and continue this discussion because I get very passionate about that. So thank you for tuning in. Check me out next Wednesday. Maybe we'll continue this. For those who give love donations, I appreciate that. Toda, shalom, shalom. For those who want to, the information will be in the description part of the edited version of this video. We got to do better, y'all. In the Bible, God says, cry out loud. I am crying out loud for you to take heed to what I just told you. Stop eating that crap. Understand your body's a temple. God made it perfect. If you feed it the right stuff, electric foods, sea moss, herbal teas, your body will begin to heal itself, and you're going to look better than ever, and you won't have to squeeze into them clothes no more. You'll be able to buy stuff that fits. Health is wealth. The hell with that bag. Worry about your wealth. It's your main man, Brother Mike. I appreciate y'all tuning in, and I'll catch y'all next week, 5 o'clock on the flip side. Shalom.